Alright, Jenny here. Today I wanted to make a short video that was inspired by this little clip that came up on my feed yesterday. And there's a guy called Phil X, he's a rock player, relatively popular, I'd say. And I like the direction in which like rock and rock blues is going at the moment, where we're well beyond just the pentatonic now. If you listen to people like even big names like Joe Satriani, and Phil X and other players, even like Robin Ford, are more like on the traditional blues side. They just don't play pentatonic anymore. Just nothing wrong with that, obviously. But in this video, I wanted to show you this little lick, and then try to give more, a few more ideas on how you can add things that are interesting to just the old pentatonic stuff. Okay, excellent. Let's get straight into it. Okay, for sake of similarity I have a slightly overdriven sound. His guitar is tuned down a half step to E flat, but I will be still playing the phrase in E. So I'll pretend that this guitar is tuned to standard. So we'll be playing, most of the stuff is in E minor pentatonic on the 12th fret, okay? And he adds extra notes for flavor. You will see that like a lot of these shredder kind of guys, more technical kind of guys, that tend to have patterns of like 3, 6 notes, because obviously that evens out the right-hand pattern. You always end up with a downstroke, so to speak. And this is, in a way, it follows that pattern, so to speak. So this is the phrase. It slides onto that 12th fret. And then it repeats the last part, but this is the main idea. This is the section of the phrase that I wanted to talk about. So you can let's just learn this very quickly, and then see what this is all about, really. What notes he adds to the pentatonic. So in the 12, on that 6th string, 12th fret, he plays 3 notes from the pentatonic. On the 12th, 15, and 17th fret. Then on the next A string, 3 notes again from the blues scale. So I'm on the 12th, 13th, 14th fret, then which adds the flat 5. Then I have a D on the 12th fret of the D string. Okay, so the first section is this. Then he goes back to the flat 5, and he plays. So flat 5, 5. Then I have 3 notes from the pentatonic, minor pentatonic on the D string. And then I have the major third on the 13th fret of the G string. Then he goes back to the E on that 14th fret of the D string. And he plays 2 notes from the pentatonic on the D string. So I'm on the 14th and 17th fret. Then I have major third, 4th, and flat 5 on that 13th, 14th, 15th fret of the G string. And then I end up on the 5th on the B, the 12th fret of the B string. And then again, it picks up the last 2 notes of the phrase before, of the note before. So, and then again, the pattern picks up the last 2 notes of the string below. Ooh, and plays 3 notes of the pentatonic on the E string. Okay, so now I've changed the sounds a bit, and I wanted to play, and I made a backing track for myself. It sounds something like this. Okay, so it's just an E7, so I can just show you a few ideas. So the first step, obviously, if we can go into incremental step to add in notes, the first step will be just a straight pentatonic. We all know that. I don't have to make any examples for that pentatonic idea. The next step obviously would be adding the flat 5, you know, the blues scale. Again, we all played that a million times. I don't have to give you any examples of that. So we don't really need that. That would be step 2. We don't need any examples of that. Now, the next thing I can do is to add the major third, either by bending the minor, you know, and I can put it in different places. I can put it here on the E string, or just by bending that minor. So there are many ways of adding that major third, but that's again, so we have pentatonic plus flat 5 plus major third. Then we can add, let me actually make some examples of that. And that, you know, that sounds very much like Robin Ford or Mike Landau, or, you know, they tend to do a lot of that, you know, but most players tend to bend that minor to major. Okay, the next step is to basically add, so far we've added the pentatonic, flat 5, major third. Now, so we need to add 2 extra notes from the you know, what we would probably call the Dorian scale, you know, the 9th and the 13th. So the 9th in E is F sharp, and the 13th is C sharp. Okay, so this extended scale is starting to sound something like this. 13th, 9th. Okay, so those are just no choices, and we can, you know, we can just make music out of that. Let's just try and see. Okay, so I want to make a little note on that, because obviously this is major. If the blues is major, you can probably justify those 2 notes, the 13th and the 9th. Those are part of the major pentatonic. So basically we are mixing the major pentatonic, or merging, should I say, the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. Where maybe in the minor you could justify them as being part of the, you know, the Dorian scale. You know, if I played something like, you know, okay, and in that case, maybe the major third would probably sound slightly out in a miles away, so to speak. You know, and we will see in a second that would be probably a sound that is part of the diminished scale. The next thing is to consider some of these notes part of the diminished arpeggio. You know, so imagine this being E diminished to E7, which is quite a, you know, you hear a lot of that in a Count Basic, you know, like in that big band era arrangement, like, you know, a lot of, you know, more jive players of that 50s era do these a lot as well. So that gives us basically the E diminished arpeggio to play with, and just trying does this a lot. You know, these phrases that integrate that arpeggio. Okay, which is basically just touches, you know, the minor third, root, 13th, flat 5, and minor third again. So let me give you an example with that. Okay, so that was just an example of adding the diminished arpeggio. So now the next step is to add a diminished whole step, half step, which is the one that goes with the diminished arpeggio for the same reason. So the scale will be something like this. Okay, so let's try to do that. Okay, you see that some sort of again, one diminished to 1/7. A lot of the other, more modern players, they actually use the half step, whole step from the E, which is again very mild, very, and the reason of that is to think of that one as an altered, altered chord. Like instead of saying E7, it's like E7 sharp 9, sharp 5 kind of idea. And that implies a like a D diminished kind of idea. Okay, so let's try that. See, but usually this is as to resolve on the next chord. It would work possibly in a static situation where I only have an E7, sorry, but it would probably work best if I'm going to another chord. Okay, so let's just see that on a static situation, see how it sounds. Okay, well, that was the diminished half step, whole step. So you see that pretty much you can use any note from any, you can use a chromatic scale. And I would say the strongest notes that you can use are obviously the pentatonic, plus flat 5. Then I have the major third. Then I would add the 13th and 9th. So okay, and then that leaves us out with a flat 2, which again is probably, if you want, that's the most dissonant. So if you want to sound really out, I would say in a miles way, that's the note to play, Okay, and then I have a flat 6, which probably is something that I want to use just for the flat 6 and the major 7. I just want to use them just as a passing note, so to speak. So like Phil X is using, same thing here. So I want to use them as passing notes, so not on a strong beat. So that leaves us pretty much with every note goes. You can make up literally, as long as the good notes fall on the beat and you end on a strong note, the root, the fifth, the same old story. You can use pretty much anything. So let me try and use all these notes and see what I can come up with. So, obviously it's important to have the right feel, so to speak. and occasionally to play phrases that are strong blues phrases like fall on a strong blues, something along the lines of that. So let me try and see if I can incorporate all this stuff. All right, maybe not perfect, but I'm just trying to find my way through all these new notes and just trying to create something a bit original, so to speak. So experiment with this and see how you get on, and obviously remember to give it that that blues feel and that and fall on some strong, recognizable phrases. I'd say that's probably the trick. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it really helped. And as always, if you enjoy this video, make sure you share it through social media, and you send it to a friend. It might help might do with it. And like, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you have any questions, again, just leave a quick comment. Take care. Bye bye.